Hello, Essex County College family. Thanks for tuning in to the Staff Spotlight once again. We do this program to highlight all the amazing folks that work for the college and perform unbelievable services for our students. Today's guest is Jennifer Wicker-Buchanan. She is the technical assistant in the Student Development and Counseling Department. How you doing today, Jennifer? How are you?
I'm well, Mr. I. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. We invited you on the show today to get your entire Essex County College profile to let the students know a little more about what you do for them. So the first question we have is, what were you doing before you came to Essex County College?
Before I came to Essex, I was actually doing security. I was working for a security company.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And who or what brought you to Essex County College? Did you see an ad somewhere for it? Had you known someone that worked here? Did someone pass along the information to you? How did you come to Essex?
Strangely enough, how I ended up at Essex is because I was going through one of the programs through Training Inc. And my brother first attended Training Inc. for the PC technician. Back then it was called PC technician. And he inspired me to go. So I came and I joined the program back in 1998, I think, or 99 or something like that. Yes. I started working here at Essex County College in 2009.
So you started
Yes.
working for the college in 2009, and what department
Yes.
did you debut in at the college?
On campus continuing education with Angela McKinney. Great director, great person to work for.
And how did you serve our students in that department?
Well, I had the pleasure of serving the student body of ages. I think the program started with the youngest would be 7 years old, and the oldest student would be 60 years old or older, because the program offered academic enrichment for those summer youth program and the seniors, and also high school students. So I was able to assist with all of them, all of the ages there. And I was the office assistant in that department. And that allowed me I was the first point of contact with at all the parents that wanted to come and enroll their students. So I had the opportunity to listen to their stories and their aspirations as to what they wanted to do, and help to guide them into what program they would fit with according to, the skills, or I'm sorry, the interests that the little children had, or in the cases of the adults, the interest that the adults had. Sometimes you have students who are 50 years or older, and they just want computer skills because they have to keep up with the times and the computer skills. So we had different programs to assist them with that. And it was a pleasure working with all of them, being able to help all of them get on the right path, so to speak. That's what our program offered there.
So Jennifer worked in the continuing education department, assisting with a ton of different programs. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. So what department do you work in now?
Currently, I work in the Student Development and Counseling Office, uh, where we serve over 1,000 students, more than 2,000 students during the fiscal year, the school year. Um, it's definitely, uh, it's almost like they, wherever they, wherever, if they go to enrollment services, they have to come to us as well. Like, we all work together on this floor, and it's like our job is easier because we help each other. We help each other. So when they come in here, I'm the first point of contact with them here. Uh, I could lift their academic probation holds if they have academic probation holds, or assist them with there's like certain things that you need for, if you're on financial aid probation, there's certain paperwork that you may need, or items that you may need before even seeing a counselor. And I get them ready for those items and prepared uh, so that when they see the counselor, it's easier for them and the counselor to make their session time a little easier.
Awesome. Did you work in any other departments in between CCE and student development and counseling?
Yes, I've actually worked in, I want to say, well, I worked in the engineering department. I worked in uh, the enrollment services department for a little while. And actually, when I left CCE, I went full time to the Essex County College had a partnership with the New Jersey Department of Labor. It was a $1.75 million uh, grant. That this is what I really loved about it. We were responsible for creating 3 programs, which are now implemented into the uh, Health Sciences Department, which is our cybersecurity, our health information technology, and our software development. We were able to create that from scratch. So I had the opportunity to participate with the professors that were developing the plan for the programs. And we sat in meetings and we went to Heldrich, and it was just altogether great experience, because I was able to thoroughly explain to the students when they came in to ask about the program and what the program offers. I was able to explain to them and also be a part of what was created and what I was giving, the information I was giving the students. I was just so happy to be able to explain to them, and with confidence, that when you go through this program, what you'll be able to get. We offered internships after the program, after you completed a certain amount in the program. So it was very great. I had a great director at the time. They hired Barbara Hughes was the director there. She was awesome to work with, and a few of us that worked in the department were actually hired from out, not me, but other than me, I was actually the only one from Essex that was more familiar with Essex. The other staff members were hired from the outside. So I was able to get them acclimated to the school, and developed it and introduced them to the people that I developed relationships with here at Essex. So it made for them a smoother transition to working here at Essex too. And it made for a good program and a good team that we worked together. But they have all since moved on to greater, I'm not bigger and better things, but having been able to work here at Essex, they are able now to say, I worked at Essex with, this grant, and it was a great experience. And but we do have one young lady who works in our recruitment department. She's still here at Essex. She stayed on, so that was a great thing. Yeah, it was a great experience to work there.
So between enrollment and student development, you're essentially a frontline worker at Essex County College. You're a familiar character to folks, and you've been assisting students from a bunch of different departments. That is amazing.
Absolutely, and it's my absolute pleasure, and I absolutely proudly say yes. I am the front line, and I don't mind working the front lines. I'm an excellent gatekeeper, like everything, because at the end of the day, I'd like for the students to feel the way I feel when I go into an establishment or when I go into a school. I like to get pertinent information that I can gather and move on and succeed with it. And I make it my business sometimes you can't get all of them, but if I've served 500 students, I would be satisfied if 496 of them were was I know that's a large margin, but I'm serious. Like, I strive that hard to make sure everybody is gotten the information that they need. And my thing is, when they come to the office, I'll tell them where they need to go, and I'll tell them, if you do not get the answer, do not leave here. Come back here, and we'll try and get that answer for you. But don't leave the school without getting your answer. That's very important. That's very, very important. I've been a student here also. So I have a degree from here, human and social services degree from here. So I've been on both ends of the spectrum. As a student, from a student standpoint, where I couldn't ask the questions that I didn't know the language. Just coming in, I didn't know the language, and I don't know the questions to ask. And then if there was someone on the college side that was able to advocate for me, then that was great. But now I'm that person on this side that can advocate and that can ask the questions for the students on their behalf. And then they leave refreshed. They leave knowing that somebody there helped, and that leaves them to tell someone else, oh yeah, go down to student development and counseling, because they're going to help you there. They're gonna make sure you get the answer. And that's the goal. That's the goal.
So you fall into a special category of Essex employees because you have been on the other side. You were a student here first, so you totally understand some of the issues that our students have, some of the struggles they have, and you understand what kind of help to give them.
Yeah, absolutely. And sincerely, I give it to them too. I absolutely. It's hard, and it's difficult, and it's scary sometimes being alone. The students come down and they ask questions, and they're overwhelmed because they're probably one of the first generation, the people in their houses to go to college, so their parents probably don't know. Some students are raised by other parents or other grandparents, and they can't get around, and they just want to make their family proud, or they just want to do something to make themselves feel wholesome and whole and successful. And if I could sit at my desk and be at any part of that, that is my goal. I get chills thinking about it now, because that is absolutely my goal. I have a 23-year-old college student myself, and every time she calls me and she tells me I've gone into the financial aid office or wherever it is that she's gone at her university, and she's treated well. And that's what every parent wants, to know that when their student or their child is out in the world, be it they're 18 or 19 years old, they want to know that somebody's taking care of them when they aren't. And although I can't be personal with them, I can be personable and compassionate and empathetic in a way that it allows them the freedom to know that here at Student Development and Counseling, you can come in and we'll try and get the answer for you. I actually put a chair by my desk. You're not supposed, and not that I'm not supposed to, but that's not normal. But you have no idea how well that chair allows decompression and take a load off for a minute, because they've just walked up the steps and they're trying to get all the information and remember all the information that they have to get out. And I just say, sit down for a moment. Take a breather. We'll talk about it. Let's do it. And we do it. And I do that. I try to do that with every single student that comes, because their problem, my problem is not their problem. So if I'm having a bad day, it's not their problem. So I make sure I set everything aside and try to empathetically and compassionately serve our students.
And we thank you for being a familiar face, for being friendly to our students, for opening yourself up to them as if they were family, to be able to be comfortable enough to come speak with you and get what they need done. Thank you for that.
It's my absolute pleasure.
My next question for you, Jennifer, is what do you like to do outside of Essex County College? What's your number one hobby, or maybe you're a secret nerd that we don't know about, but what do you love to do?
I love to sing, Mr. I love to sing. And I have sang at maybe about 4 or 5 of Essex's commencement ceremonies, and our president used to call me their in-house soloist. But it's my absolute pleasure to sing, and that's another way of spreading information and getting, spreading positive energy and positive information, singing, and it really relaxes me. So that's what I love doing most. And children, serving and taking care of children, I love it. And I have only one, but these children, these are adults here at Essex, but they're somebody's child. at the end of it all. They're someone's child. So when they come in, they have that familiar feel. One day, there was a parent and a student waiting in the waiting area. And I was sitting at my desk, and sometimes I understand with my own 23-year-old that we as parents can probably get on the students and our children's nerves. However, there's still an unwritten rule that you cannot talk like that to your mother. So I just happened to listen and poke my head and said, I don't think you should be talking to your mother like that. But from there, the student and the mother and myself, we developed a great relationship, a great rapport. And her child ended up coming here and every so often to check in and make sure that she was right and everything was fine. And when she got good grades, she would tell me, Miss Jennifer, look what I did today. And that's what happens when you show a little concern. You show a little concern, just a little bit, not getting intrusive and anything, but they happen to be in the same area. So I was able to just lend a kind ear, so to speak. So it was a good thing because it created a good rapport, and she graduated. So that's great. That was a great thing.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
For those of you watching at home, the first time I've ever seen Jennifer was at one of our commencements, and listening to her beautiful voice soar over the entire arena is truly amazing. My next question for you, Jennifer, is what is your favorite singer, or who are some of your influences in music?
My first inspiration since I was maybe 6 years old was Whitney Houston. So it would be Whitney Houston, Mahalia Jackson, Tamala Mann, Patti LaBelle, Fantasia, like all of the big, great, to me, they sing. They sing, and they sing with their soul. And that's what I'd like to do. I'd like for whatever the message is that is coming out of my mouth, for the person to receive it and be able to relate to it and see that I'm giving my all because I have a message to deliver. And I hope that in my performance, you get the message and it changes your world.
Our students have received your message, and I know that they are grateful for all the hard work that you put in for them.
Good.
All right, Jennifer, our last question for you today is, yes, what is the best piece of advice that you have for all of our incoming, current students, every Essex student out there? What is the best piece of advice that you have to give them?
Mr. Ott, my best piece of advice to every student watching is follow through. Follow through. Don't let anybody tell you that your chance is not now. Your able is not someone else's able. They may have done it in their sequence may have started from A to Z, but your sequence will maybe from Z to A. So don't stop, don't give up, and don't compare your situation to others. Your situation is greater, maybe greater, only if you follow through. But nobody appreciates more. For me, when a student comes in and they have covered every base and exhausted every avenue that they could, that shows me that you've tried, and that makes us all here want to help you even more. So just follow through and don't get distracted. That's my rule. That's my advice.
That was a truly beautiful piece. We appreciate you sending that sentiment to all the students.
Thank you.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Staff Spotlight today. We want to thank our special guest, Ms. Jennifer Wicker-Buchanan, for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of the program and for sharing your unbelievable wisdom and your services with our students, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me. And I'm here for as long as they'll have me. And I'll be right here in room 4122. And if my location ever changes, I'll let you all know. But I'm here. And I thank you again for having me, sir.
We thank you all for tuning in to Staff Spotlight. We hope you and your family are doing well during this time. We will talk to you soon and see you on the next episode. Take care.